Mr. Searle, your district, I thought maybe perhaps I'd let you lead off the discussion amongst the board members.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a little surprised with Mr. Hansen's opinion that the impact statement does not meet the requirements, because it's been my understanding for the last week or so that it did. With that is new information for myself, which is definitely going to have to affect on how my recommendation, what we do tonight. I do have a question for Mr. Christensen. I saw some information in here that if this park district is not successful by May 1st or May 15th, that the LLC that is currently operating is going to go ahead and close the golf course. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. So we do have a short window of time here to deal with this issue. Mr. Hansen, your opinion is the impact statement is not valid and would give us reasons to, we could deny it tonight then for that reason, or we could ask for it to be amended.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, please, no outbursts, please, at this point from the audience.
You can request that the organizers amend it, or you could deny it.
Could we approve it being an invalid?
Oh, no.
Incomplete.
No, it has to be complete.
How is it incomplete?
Well, I guess that kind of limits kind of where I'm going to go with this tonight. My personal opinion on this all along has been this should be a community decision, because the people that live here are going to be affected by this one way or the other. Whether the park survives, whether the golf course survives or whether it dies, this decision should be made by the community and not by somebody else. I think the process of creating a district, I think, is very fair. If all three thresholds are met, if the property owners agree, over 50%, if the assessed valuation agree, over 50%, and over 50% of the voters agree, I think it's the most foolproof way of saying whether this should go forward or not. With that said, with this new information, I would propose that we give the organizing board time to amend their request so it can be complete. I don't know how much time. We don't have a whole lot of time to do this and for this community to go forward. I've lived here since 1971, and Sunsites has always been special and unique, is because whether you played golf or not, the trees and the green space that was in this community. As a resident, and I know how precious water is, on the one side I could say, you know what, we could close this golf course and we could save ourselves a lot of water and we could save a lot of expense. But on the flip side, it will not be the same community. And that's why I think it's really important that the community ultimately makes this decision and not an outside board. And that's my comments for right now.
Thank you. Ms. English?
I came to this public hearing with an open mind. I know that there are emotions that are on both sides of this issue. When you form a new district, it seemed to me, I kept thinking in my mind that it was supposedly to promote the health, welfare, safety, and I didn't see that addressed. I know it's trying to address economic issues in the community, and I hear that. but I'm not sure that I'm in favor of using that as a reason to put a new district together. I didn't feel that there was, after looking at all of this information even before I came here, that if I lived in this community and I only knew the information that was on the paper, I wouldn't have felt good about, voting for it. So I guess I feel that perhaps you have learned something here today, all of you, from, the information that's been given. And if the people who have put this information together and the impact statement have gained from that what the people want to know in order to have a positive response, then you will amend it so that they feel comfortable doing that. I think that that's usually the reason that people are negative, is they don't understand everything that's going on, or I understand it well enough and I still don't want it. So I think understanding and having the right information is going to give you a community that understands, and it's okay to disagree with something as long as other people allow you to disagree agreeably. So there's no reason it has to divide the community, but it has right now, because I could sense in your conversations that you felt that you'd either been lied to, or that somebody's covering something up, or it's the haves against the have-nots. So you need to get rid of that and look at the issue here, and whether or not that it really is going to help you as a community to promote health, safety, and welfare of this community. So I would have to tell you at this point in time, I do not feel that the impact statement is complete, and so I would have to vote against allowing it to go to petition at this time.
One of the questions I had, and I was, again, confused, as I think many people were, maybe Mr. Hanson, just to be very clear. It's my understanding that if the applicant only gets signatures from property owners, that the applicant controls a significant amount of parcels. That's correct? And would have each one of those parcels would be a signature? Is that? Okay, hang on please, I'm trying to, the information I have is confusing coming into this meeting, so I guess I need clarification.
Okay, Mr. Searle must understood the question better than I understood your question, because I couldn't say yes or no to.
All right, it's my understanding that the applicant, there are a number of
the organizers, you mean?
There are a number of undeveloped lots, and that the organizers basically control those lots, and therefore would have a vote for each one of those lots.
No. I don't think so.
Okay, fine. All right. Then.
Would you like clarification on that?
What would happen is there's three different thresholds. You have number of property owners. You have a number of so a property owner that may have 10 lots, they only have one vote, and when it comes to total number of property owners. Where it comes into play is on the assessed valuation. They may have a higher assessed valuation. So not only would they have to get 50% of the actual property owners, the number, but also the assessed valuation. That would give them an advantage on the assessed valuation.
So regardless of which way we go here tonight, there is a level playing field relative to this measure going forward or not, in your opinion?
In my opinion, it's a level playing field, especially with the registered voters.
Especially considering the requirement or the added requirement of registered voters, it is a very level playing field.
That's not necessarily.
But even if you go back just to the two that Mr. Hanson referred to, property owner numbers, and assessed valuation, they have to have over 50% of the individual property owners to sign it. And if one person owns 20 lots, or 30 lots, or 50 lots, that is one property owner, not 50 property owners. I would like to make a motion that we give the organizing board, before I make this motion, it's a little challenging because there was a lot of work put into this meeting tonight, and there's a lot of effort and nobody likes to get to the edge and then not have a decision. I would really like to have made a decision one way or the other tonight and say yes or no. And here we're in a position where we're going to have to basically, I think we need to give them the time, because gets back to it, I think the community needs to make this decision. And so with that, I would make a motion that we give the organizing board 2 weeks to amend their petition so it meets the county attorney's requirements and elections requirements.
Mr. Chairman, I second that motion.
All right, is there further discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Hanson, are we on track here? Okay, thank you. All right, seeing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Just to be very clear, the organizing effort has 2 weeks in which to amend the impact statement. At that point, what are the next steps?
The board will have to have another hearing date set and another action item set, just for considering the additional items on the impact statement, whatever is added and subtracted, and then vote.
Thank you. Once again, the rest of this agenda had to do with the summary of current events by each member of the Board of Supervisors. Given the time of the evening, we're going to forego that. Again, on behalf of the entire board, thank you all for your invitation to hold this meeting in your community. And again, thank you for your patience and understanding. We are adjourned.